Welcome back, everyone. You are tuning into another episode where we break down the absolute madness happening in the tech world. I'm Mahir, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kapil. Here we are to talk about some exciting just from applied AI architects. Kapil, welcome.
Thanks, Jair. There are tons of updates. Honestly, it's getting incredibly hard to keep pace these days. Just then, when you think things are stabilizing, industry drops another bomb. But clearly, I think the most newsworthy drop for the week was Mythos by Anthropic. What have you been hearing, Maya?
Mythos is certainly demonstrating a new level of model capability. It shows an incredible capacity for advanced autonomy, which, when directed, I think, responsibly, can be used for deep level security analysis, may uncover flaws in complex systems.
Oh, tell me more.
It highlights the need for continuous, I think, proactive defense engineering. This is how we can just put it. With software powering from the financial systems or some essential infrastructure, then the ability to advance AI models to test and secure these systems becomes very crucial and important.
So that looks like a nightmare scenario, right?
Exactly. But thankfully, Anthropic didn't just release, they unveiled the project Glasswing alongside. It is kind of a massive collaboration with cybersecurity giants, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Google, and NVIDIA. They are basically keeping Cloud Mythos model unreleased to the public yet and using it strictly for cybersecurity testing, especially with those partners.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. Why haven't they included power companies, hospitals, nuclear plants, railways? If the concern is about critical infrastructure, shouldn't those guys be at the table, right?
It is a fair question, but I think it comes down to the tech stack. Most of those industries which you mentioned, the hospitals, railways, are essential consumers of the software. So I think by partnering with companies like Microsoft, Apple, Google, Anthropic is working with the folks who really build the foundational layers of the software. I think everyone is using all those companies globally. So basically, if they patch the OS part, I think then you can protect the hospital. I think it's extremely important that Anthropic restricted the release. But you're giving me a look. Kapil, you sound a bit skeptical about it.
Kind of, right? So we already knew that AI is good at coding, right? AI is done by software engineers and they understand coding very well. And it was just a matter of time that it is the same capabilities which are leveraged to find exploits, so zero-day exploits. So this evolution of Mythos is not surprising. What I'm really worried about is regulation. So let me give you an analogy. Each one of us have a kitchen knife in our kitchens, right? And you can actually go and kill someone with a knife. Those are tools, but we don't ban knives, right? So as a society, we have found ways to successfully regulate our behavior, have some laws, and create a culture of safety around dangerous tools. What I feel is that these models locked up in a corporate silos isn't a permanent fix. We need to figure out how society adopts to AI knife, so as to speak, through proper regulation and defensive engineering rather than just hiding it.
I think that's a brilliant analogy. It basically underscores the importance of the open source community and where especially responsible development is key. And these models rapidly increase in capability. So this is an ongoing progress everywhere. So speaking of which, by the way, we had some huge open source launches this week. What are those?
They were, yeah. The heavy hitters were GLM 5.1 and Deepseek V4, Chinese open source models, very strong models. I was looking at some forums and developers were claiming that GLM 5.1 is nearly as good as Anthropic's Opus 4.6 when it came to coding tasks.
That's wild for an open weight model. And Google, by the way, didn't stay quiet either. For the open source community, I think Gemma 4 is launched. So it's a really cool one. a lightweight family of models. I think it ranges from 2 billion to 31 billion parameters, a huge jump. And I think it's a big differentiating point. And it's optimized specifically to run the AI agents on local laptops and the single GPUs and even phones. I think this is the real wave, which has been there for a while, right?
So phone getting intelligence, huh? Amazing. And with these, it opens up the door to run autonomous agents on smaller devices. You don't need massive server farms for autonomous AI agents. But I have Deepseek V4 news. That one made my jaw drop.
Oh, the hardware angle, you mean?
Yeah, the first model to be trained on non-NVIDIA hardware, and Deepseek is a massive 1 trillion parameter model, right? So with Huawei Ascend chips, they were able to train that model completely bypassing NVIDIA GPUs.
That's a massive technological milestone for sure. That showcases the serious frontier model development now can be achieved with, I think, diverse hardware suppliers. Very similar, I think, trend what we've seen for the cloud work. This signals a healthy, maybe more resilient supply chain and innovation across the entire ecosystem. And yeah, some sleepless nights for Jensen Huang, I guess.
Just a bit. But there's one other big news. Meta dropped Llama 4 Scout. They are pushing the boundaries of memory here, right? Scout has a 10 million token context window.
10 million. You could drop, I think, a whole library, even more, a code-based structure into a single prompt, right?
Yeah, and that changes the way we interact with data, right? So between Mythos, a new trillion parameter model trained on Huawei chips, Meta launching 10 million context window. What a month, right, in tech.
Never dull a moment. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back in the next episode, we'll dive deeper into how basically you can actually set up Gemma 4 on your phone. Will be, Kapil.
Yeah, bye. Stay tuned.